The mirror in room 3C. The first time I saw the mirror move, I thought it was a draft. The second time, I swore I saw something standing behind me, even though I was alone. By the third night, I stopped sleeping entirely. I've been a traveling nurse for the past 3 years, bouncing from city to city, hospital to hospital. You get used to living out of suitcases and sleeping in unfamiliar beds, but I've never stayed anywhere that made me feel hunted. This was in Boston. I had a 12-week assignment at a rehab hospital and found a long-term Airbnb close by. It was one of those older red brick apartment buildings downtown, built in the early 1900s. Wood floors, narrow halls, creaky everything. The listing said the apartment was private but cozy, room 3C, third floor. The host was a woman named Marlene. She greeted me when I arrived, sweet, maybe in her late 60s. Frail voice, heavy perfume, the kind of person who lingered when she talked. She lived downstairs in 1A and told me to text if I needed anything. Room 3C's special, she said as she handed me the keys. It has character. Don't let it spook you. I laughed, assuming she meant the antique furniture, but I would remember that sentence later. The apartment had 3 rooms, a kitchen, a tiny bathroom, and a bedroom. The walls were pale yellow, the floors were uneven and scuffed, and everything smelled faintly of lemon and mothballs. The bedroom had an old wooden bed frame, a lace-curtained window, and a tall mirror leaning against the wall across from the bed. It was oval-shaped, almost 6 feet tall, set in an ornate brass frame with clawed feet. Definitely antique. The kind of thing you'd find in a museum or your grandma's attic. I didn't think much of it at first. That night, after I unpacked, I lay in bed and scrolled through my phone. The light from the hallway cast a sliver across the mirror. In the reflection, I could see myself and something else. It looked like a shadow in the corner behind me. But when I turned around, the corner was empty. I chalked it up to bad lighting and travel exhaustion. The second night, around 3 a.m., I woke up cold. The room was freezing, not chilly, cold. I checked the thermostat, still set to 70. I put on a hoodie and was about to crawl back under the blanket when I noticed the mirror. There was fog on it, a faint, smeared handprint. I hadn't touched it. I got up and wiped the glass with my sleeve. The fog faded, the print vanished. But as I looked at my reflection, I realized something deeply unsettling. I wasn't centered. In the reflection, I was standing slightly to the left, off from where I actually was in the room. I stepped back, tilted my head, moved side to side. The reflection was delayed, just slightly, like it was catching up to me by a split second. I closed the bedroom door and left the light on all night. Over the next few days, I noticed more things. Drafts, for one, cold wind blowing through a room with all the windows shut, soft whispers behind me when I brushed my teeth, and the mirror. The mirror always seemed to follow me. No matter where I stood, I felt like I was being watched. On the 5th night, I dreamed I was standing in front of it, only I wasn't moving. My reflection was smiling. I woke up drenched in sweat. That morning, I tried to move the mirror out of the bedroom. I figured it was just messing with my head, but when I gripped the edges and pulled, it wouldn't budge. It felt bolted to the floor. But there were no bolts, no brackets, nothing. Just those clawed feet gripping the wood. I called the host, Marlene. "Hi," I said. "Sorry to bother you, but that mirror in the bedroom, do you mind if I move it? It's kind of creeping me out." There was a long pause on the other end. "I wouldn't, dear," she said slowly. "It's been there a long time. Belonged to the woman who lived in 3C before you." I asked her what she meant. "She was here for years," Marlene said. "Didn't like people much. Liked to sit in front of that mirror for hours. Said she could see her sister in it." "She had a sister?" Marlene's voice lowered. "Her sister died when they were kids." I didn't know what to say. "She passed away in that room," she added. "Heart failure. I don't rent that unit often, but you seemed nice. I thought it'd be fine." I didn't sleep that night. I kept the light on. I turned the mirror to face the wall, but at some point, I must have dozed off. I woke up in the pitch dark. The mirror was back, facing me. I stared into it. My reflection stared back. Only, it wasn't exact. The me in the mirror was smiling. I wasn't. It tilted its head. I felt my stomach drop. I scrambled up, grabbed my bag, and left the apartment. I sat in my car outside until sunrise. The next day, I told Marlene I wanted to cancel the rest of my stay. She didn't ask why. just refunded the remaining nights and wished me well. I checked into a Marriott across town, slept like a rock. That should have been the end of it. But 2 nights later, while unpacking in the hotel room, I noticed something strange. The bathroom mirror fogged up while I was brushing my teeth, even though I hadn't taken a shower. And in the fog, faint but there, was a single word: stay. I turned and looked behind me. Nothing there. That night, I dreamed of 3C again. Only this time, I was inside the mirror, staring out, watching myself sleep in the bed, and I wasn't alone. A woman stood behind me, pale, bony fingers on my shoulders, whispering something I couldn't understand. When I woke up, the hotel room mirror was clean. But ever since then, no matter where I go, a hotel, a friend's house, even the little mirror in my car, sometimes, just for a second, I catch her standing behind me. Her face never moves, but her eyes, they never blink. And the mirror, it always shows her closer. Guests never leave this place. The first message came just after midnight. It said, "You need to leave. He comes on the 3rd night." I didn't recognize the number. When I replied, I got one word back: trapped. I'd been driving across the country for work, a solo trip from Oregon to Virginia, taking my time through small towns and scenic roads. Somewhere in the middle of West Virginia, I booked a last-minute Airbnb. I needed a break from the chain motels and fluorescent-lit gas stations. The listing looked like something out of a magazine. A restored 1800s farmhouse sitting in the middle of a rolling green valley. White trim, wraparound porch, big wooden barn out back. Quiet, secluded, perfect for solo travelers. 5 stars, glowing reviews. I booked 2 nights. I arrived just before sunset. A gravel road led up to the house, which sat isolated at the end of a long stretch of fields. No other buildings in sight. The air smelled like wet hay and wood smoke. The house itself was beautiful. Tall windows, deep red shutters, and a weather vane spinning slowly in the wind. There was no check-in. The host, someone named Alan, had left the door unlocked and a little handwritten note on the kitchen table. "Welcome. Mi casa es su casa. Feel free to explore. Just please don't enter the basement. Old flooring, not safe. Wi-Fi. Farmland guest 2024. I dropped my bag in the upstairs bedroom and opened the windows. The silence was almost overwhelming. No cars, no people, just the hum of insects and the rustle of trees. I made dinner, watched a movie on my laptop, and went to bed around midnight. That's when I got the first text. "Unknown number. You need to leave. He comes on the 3rd night." I stared at it, confused. I responded, "Who is this?" The reply came 10 seconds later. "Trapped." I tried to call the number. Straight to voicemail. I laughed it off at first. Probably a wrong number, or someone messing with me. But something about the phrasing, "he comes," made me uneasy. I double-checked the locks on the front and back doors. Then I went upstairs, shut the bedroom door, and tried to sleep. The second day was normal. I made breakfast, sat on the porch with my laptop, walked the perimeter of the property. There were faded animal pens near the barn, and a rusted swing that creaked even without wind. I never saw a single car drive by. The host never showed. That afternoon, I checked the guest book on the kitchen counter. It was one of those little leather-bound ones where people scribble thank yous and compliments. Most of the notes were short and friendly, but one stuck out. It was dated 3 months earlier. The handwriting was jagged, rushed. "Alan is not who he says he is. If you're reading this, please don't stay the 3rd night." That night, the second message came in. "You stayed. Why?" I didn't respond. Then a third message. "He comes when it's darkest. Don't open the door." I turned off my phone and plugged it in across the room. But sleep didn't come easy. Around 2 a.m., I heard movement downstairs. Slow, deliberate footsteps on the old hardwood floor. Creak, creak. I sat up in bed, heart thudding. The sound moved from the kitchen to the base of the stairs, then stopped. I held my breath. No more movement. I waited for what felt like an hour before creeping to the bedroom door. I opened it an inch. The hallway was dark. The stairs below, pitch black. I didn't go down. I locked the door and waited for morning. The 3rd day felt wrong from the moment I woke up. The air was heavy, like the house was holding its breath. I went outside just to shake the feeling. The fields looked exactly the same, but something about the sky, it was darker than it should have been. Overcast, but with no clouds, like the sun had dimmed. I tried to message the host, Alan, through the Airbnb app. No reply. I tried to call the number listed on the reservation. Disconnected. I decided to cut my trip short and leave that afternoon, but my car wouldn't start. No clicks, no lights, nothing. Dead. I popped the hood, checked the battery connections. All looked fine. I wasn't a mechanic, but something told me this wasn't normal. I went back inside and tried to book a ride out, Uber, Lyft, anything. No drivers available. I even tried calling 911 just to see if there was cell service. The call wouldn't connect. It was like I'd been cut off. That night, the text started again. A new number. He's in the walls. Don't look at him. Another. The mirror will show him first. And finally, you're already his. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't have any mirrors in the bedroom. Just the one above the fireplace downstairs. I went down to cover it. As I stepped into the living room, my phone buzzed in my hand. A new photo message. It was a picture of me, standing at the top of the stairs, only I hadn't taken it. The angle was from the hallway, like someone had been watching me from behind. I dropped the phone, ran back upstairs, locked the door, barricaded it with the dresser. Then I heard it, from inside the walls, a scraping sound. Like something long and sharp was being dragged through the wooden beams. It circled the room slowly, methodically. I pressed my ear to the wall and listened. On the other side, breathing. Deep, wet, rhythmic, not human. I backed away, then it stopped. Silence again. I didn't sleep. I sat in the corner of the room, clutching a fireplace poker I'd grabbed earlier, waiting for the sun. When daylight finally came, I packed everything in 5 minutes. I didn't care about the car anymore. I left it there and started walking, through fields, down the gravel road, until I found a 2-lane highway. I stuck my thumb out like some horror movie cliche, and finally, after 45 minutes, a pickup truck pulled over and gave me a ride into town. I stayed in a motel that night. I didn't tell anyone what had happened, but later that week, I checked the Airbnb listing again. It was gone, not marked unavailable, just deleted, like it never existed. I tried to search Alan, the host, no profile. Then I looked up the address through the county assessor's site. The last recorded owner, a man named Alan Rickett, died in 1997, a murder-suicide. Killed 3 guests who had been staying at his farmhouse before turning a shotgun on himself in the basement. I looked closer at the old crime scene photo. The house was the same, but what chilled me most was the guest book on the kitchen counter, open to a page I recognized. My handwriting. Beautiful place. Might stay a 3rd night. I had written it the first night before anything started, before the messages came. I don't know who's sending those warnings or how they knew I was there, but I've changed my number. I don't use Airbnb anymore, and sometimes late at night, I still hear my phone buzz, just once. I don't check it. I don't want to see what it says, because deep down I know some part of me never left that place.